making history. Look everywhere gone like say them twist split. Money miss a couple life no fit me. Fire is good. I judge the noise and sun. Money no fun so that money out. And money young down good. Once a black, do the thing for our food.
People to the world wherever you are, whether you're in New York City, America, Caribbean by extension, Africa, Asia, this is the time that you've been waiting for, isn't it? As we now present, yes, the man himself, Spragga Benz, in the spotlight to discuss and walk through his journey as a reggae dancehall. A pleasant good afternoon to you, Spragga. How are you and what's the weather like wherever you're there?
Well, right now, we're up in New York City and it's kind of windy, you know, but it's all good. Give thanks. Not a bad day.
All right, lovely. Now, Spragga Benz, you know what I mean? We know you as a dancehall artist who've been giving us music from way back, late 80s, right through the 90s, you get me, and you were dominating that genre. But before we get into that, we realized that, you know what I mean, you were featured into this popular film called Shatter. Tell us a bit more about that. How did it happen from a dancehall artist into starring a big film like Shatters?
Well, all that started is that my manager at the time, Chuck D, he was friends with Seth Silvera, who was the one that actually directed the film. And they were telling me about it, that, you know, they had a part for me to play in the film, and then they brought me the script and told me the part that I was supposed to read. And it just happened from there. It wasn't anything, no big auditioning and none of that. You know, we just knew that was my role and we were going to knock it out. Yeah, we'll just do it.
For those who saw that movie, you know what I mean, you played that character extremely well. Prior to that, you had any experience, you know what I mean, into films?
No, I had played myself in a movie before that. I just acted as Spragga Benz performing in a movie called Brooklyn Babylon with Black Thought and you know, From the Roots band and a couple more prominent actors. But I wasn't acting, I was just performing as myself.
Lovely. So that movie, how did that movie impacted on your career as a dancehall artist positively? What did it do to you?
Brooklyn Babylon? Well, it was
Shatters. We're talking about Shatters.
Shatters. Well, Shatters. It made me new fans in the mostly in the American underground and the world underground, because it became like a worldwide hit. But it brought me more in touch, in tune with the American streets, because they really accepted it a lot of all the places that I've traveled. But musically, it has helped some of those who only saw me in the movie as an actor to discover that, oh, he sings songs as well. And some of these songs that we're hearing, the voices and don't know the names, it actually is this guy. So they brought Wayne and Spragga Benz together as one person.
Absolutely, that's so fantastic. So let's take us back in Jamaica. Where in Jamaica is Spragga Benz from? Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Kingston 16. Was born in Southside, Raytown area. Grew up in the Franklin Town, Dunkirk area, Red Square.
And at what age did you realize that you had this passion for singing and that remedy within your soul?
Well, I always loved music from I was introduced to music. I always loved it, and she was going to buy records because we had a turntable at home, and my father brought music from abroad because he traveled a lot, and my mother bought the local records. I was kind of exposed to both foreign and local music. You know, at any moment you could hear a Barry White play, and then the next record playing is a Mighty Diamonds. That's how my household was, you know. And when I graduated from high school, now me and my friends used to touch road, so to speak, and we'd go to stage shows, and you know that got me more in tune with performing. And then further on, I got involved with a sound called Benz, Ricky Villa, and that person actually brought me to the studio to see how actual records were made. And from there, you know, that inspired me to do dub plates and move up to recordings, and till, you know, I'm here now.
Now, I'm happy that you mentioned that, because quite clearly sometimes persons are confused. We want to know from your perspective, Spragga Benz, what is the difference between performing in a sound system or going into a recording studio and recording? What are the benefits?
Performing in a sound system is live and direct and spontaneous. You know, it happens on the spot. Performing in the studio, it can be rehearsed. You can stop and start again and take it from a point and until you get the perfect material, the perfect product that you want. But doing it live in the dancehall, performing for a live audience, where audience reaction and you know, crowd interaction, all those things come into play. It's different from doing it in the studio.
Absolutely.
More exciting. Yeah.
I see you. So share with our listeners, the first time you entered a professional studio, what was your reaction like? Were you shaking like a leaf, or you were quite confident?
Well, the first time I entered to record.
Yes, in a professional studio.
You mean to record?
Yes,
okay,
that's
the first
correct.
time I went into a professional studio, I wasn't nervous at all, because we had the sound system, and I got a little bit of practice on the sound system first. So, you know, when I actually took what I practiced on the sound system to actually do it professionally in the studio, it was a lot of anticipation. I couldn't wait to do it. You know? Was ready for it.
Now, yeah. Of course, there is a big confusion or a big argument as to what is the definitive idea of dancehall. Do you know what I mean? Some say that dancehall is a venue. Some say dancehall is derogative. Some say dancehall is contributing to violence. Now, from an artist's point of view, you've been in dancehall. You've been giving us dancehall music from the early 90s right throughout. What is your perspective of dancehall?
Dancehall, my perspective is originally it was a place, it was a hall that the locals went to have a dance and party, and live music was played, recorded music during the intervals. That's how it started. Because back in the days when my father and my mother telling me about going to dance, Chocomo Lawn and all those type of places, it was live bands, you know, Scatterlights and all those people, and then the people just dance up a storm until morning. Well, the place that the dance is kept and the type of music that was played there was different from the music that was played on the radio at the time. So that became known as the dancehall music, because it wasn't being played on the radio. The Bob Marleys and the Delroy Wilsons of the day, they weren't being played on the RJR radio stations or the JBC or whatever. They were playing mostly foreign music. So those music that the hardcore, our foundation artists, was restricted to the dancehall and became known as dancehall music. And over time, the content changed. But it's the same dancehall music, a lot of, which is still not acceptable on radio. It is for the streets or for the dancehall, for the halls, that this type of music is played. So reggae music to me is the parent of dancehall, but the dancehall sound that we know today is a more like hardcore dancehall. So that's the difference now. We have hardcore dancehall, which encompass now all of the girl tune them and the bad man tune them and the street happenings and all of that. That's the hardcore side of dancehall because it also reflects society in a hardcore way. It's raw. It's uncompromising. So, you know,
so what
that's the hardcore dancehall. But you have other conscious dancehall as well.
Same.
Because people like Lucian and them are the dancehall artists then. But they sing a more conscious, they bring a more conscious energy. Kalanji, early Kalanji music, Capleton. Conscious dancehall is hardcore just the same. Fire burn. But the content of the lyrics is different. So they call that conscious dancehall, reality dancehall, and then you have hardcore dancehall. So it has different categories to me.
Absolutely, that's so interesting. Now, we also know back in the 90s, and for those who remember Spragga Benz from the early 90s, we got hits that would have make you dance. You couldn't have listened to a Spragga Benz and be still, you get me? You had to move, you get me? Because he came with that sort of vibration, that sort of energy. But in today's dancehall, it's slightly changed because most of the lyrics that we hear today are derogative towards women and, you know, I mean, it's more supporting gun-related, etc. What do you think has changed in the music?
You know, dancehall.
What contributed to that, rather?
You know, I'm going to say that dancehall, if they want to call it derogatory, dancehall music in that case has always been derogatory. Because from original DJ, they will come in, they will sing about, girl, your mother up and, you see me, hold up your hand, you know, like your matey and all them way. Same thing. You know, some of the early dancehall songs, if you listen to them, they did a lick out same way against a certain lifestyle or a certain category of behaviors, both male and female. Hold up your hand, you know, like no funny man. Hold up your hand, you know, like no funny woman. You see me, all of them things that was in the dancehall where people call it derogatory music, but a lot of it was touching a lot of people's conscience at the same time too. Because the reality of it, more times a girl carry herself a certain way to give a man an idea for sing a certain song. Or a man, we do certain things and give a man an idea to sing a certain gangsterness because a certain folly where they might see it take place, or a certain backbiting where they might experience, and you know, all of them things that come out in the music in angry ways.
Right, Spragga, but also what I'm trying to get at as well is that in the late 80s, early 90s, when one would go to dance, right, and persons like yourself and the Beanie Man and the Buju Banton, and people in the crowd, you know what I mean, would have a nice time and they would, you know what I mean, put up their hands in the air, etc. But since late 90s to the early 2000, you see a change in behavior in the sense that when you go dance now, you actually hear the live gunshots and the wars happening, fighting. Why is that change?
You always used to hear live gunshots in dance. Legal! Dancehall that term that come from, you know, from me, I go and dance as a little youth. You selector in time, I'm on a DJ. Legal! Somebody fire 2 shots down the road in the dance as a sign of salute to what is happening. Now, the social construct of society has changed a lot. And only for things happen. Me, I go blame politicians for it. a lot of things them do will actually orchestrate certain behaviors in a lower class and encourage certain type of behavior too. That snowballing nowadays. But it really don't have no place in a dancehall still for you bring your violent behavior to a dance. That don't have no place in it. But as far as legal gunshot fire in a dance, that has always been a part of the adrenaline of a dancehall. You know, it's a two-shot fire in the air and just the explosion get people jump away. But you know, say, it not fire off on the body. Nowadays, the youth, them a try live where them sing. From the examples where them even see with the rappers, them a man and they say, yo, I be selling coke and I been very and Jamaican youth, them not do them thing, but them start sing it and then them want to live the life too, because the whole thing get Americanized with the introduction of cable TV from in the 80s coming up in Jamaica. It changed the whole, it changed the whole atmosphere of life. And art
so what I'm
reflects life.
So what I'm hearing from you that the behavior that we see in the dancehall today is influenced by outside and not
it has
particularly
been orchestrated. Yeah.
Right. And not particularly
and snowballing now, because a lot of the youth them take on to it thinking that is the reality. But that's something that was orchestrated to be like this. The type of music that the radio stations play, the radio stations play are the persons who in charge of the major video stations and all them, they choose to play a certain type of music. They choose to highlight certain types of artists. A lot of conscious music is out there, see me. A lot of conscious artists where you not hear them, but you hear every little stupid type of derogatory music, as we would want to call it right now, just for conversation's sake. All of the dance music, you hear that play how much time nowadays that I get the promotion from the mainstream, because it hold down a nation. What the nation can see say is an orchestrated plan, but everybody caught into making ends meet. So a lot of people don't look at the consequences of them doing right now, because it'll make them ends meet. It'll make that man the ends meet and me want my ends meet. So some are going to do that with that man they do. Or worse, with more shock value, that we can get the attention. That's how a lot of people, a lot of artists look on it nowadays.
Now, from a veteran dancehall artist, someone who has been there from the early 90s, what do you say to some of our younger dancehall artists in terms of the behavior that they want to actually live? What advice would you say to them?
I tell them, don't sell them soul, because no matter how much you get for your soul, it's not going to worth it in the long run. You know? Have faith in a Jah and stick to your culture. Don't stray from it, you know, because that's what makes us unique. Don't lose yourself, you know. If you can go back to your foundation and listen to what the foundation is, to follow the tradition of where it's supposed to be, you know, and stop look out at themselves trying to please a different set of people who will never accept them, really. You know, so I'd advise the young artists them to sing from them soul and censor themselves.
Now, we see...
If they have no feeling, okay, cool, but who know better, I'd encourage them to do better.
Right, Spragga Benz. So, we now, I think it was 2019, we had the passage of COVID-19, and that really had a downfall on the reggae industry. How that has affected your career as a musician?
And just reggae industry, to me, the whole pandemic is a whole orchestrated movement as well. And nobody can tell me the different. I'm not going to argue with nobody. Just me know. And I feel that has affected us in the design ways as to that it cut our ability to earn and our ability to spread the word, the conscious word. And it's trying to force people to submit, and people who idolize the dancehall are the musicians, and it kind of try let those type of people follow what them say the dancehall or them favorite acts are being forced to do to survive. So some are gonna go with it, some not gonna go with it. And the governments just are gonna continue pushing them agenda the same way without heart against any particular category of earning. Not just musicians alone, store people to hustlers. Everybody this thing come affect right across the board. So the world changes, come out where we are going to decide what is valuable to us and what is worth standing for, or fighting for, or dying for, or living for. Everybody are going to come to a point where they make them decision. And the more informed we can be.
Jamaica. But clearly we see now, reggae music seems to be doing bigger out of Jamaica. And some may say there is a decline of reggae right in Jamaica. What do you say on that issue?
Yeah, there's a decline in the quality of reggae that is coming out of Jamaica. And we're not flourishing music. And the world are give flourishing music. And when a gentleman are give music, they not face the things that we face in Jamaica. They not have the same struggles as us. They not have the same problems as us. They not have the same outlook on life as far as it comes to survival. So the music will be different.
You said the quality of reggae music seems to have dropped in Jamaica. I see.
And you can't fix nothing in a country when you not fix crime and you not fix poverty, which breeds crime. So the quality of life has fallen. So the quality of everything else falls with it. Because poverty has risen.
Right. So over the years, right now, I live in Coventry, United Kingdom, and Coventry is now celebrating, it's the city of culture of UK. And as next year, they will be having loads of events to represent them as being the city of culture. Now, over the years, we haven't seen much reggae dancehall coming to Coventry. Would that be something that you would be interested in, to come down to Coventry to perform next year?
That would be a pleasure of mine, because the UK overall is one of my favorite places to be. Like 2 years ago, I spent like almost 6 months there recording a totally UK album. The Chillagan project, and with people like Rodney P, General Levy, Illerman, a lot of the Killer P, a lot of the English youths them, and did Boomtown Festival. So Coventry, that would just be one more place on the list that I think would be one of my favorite places as well.
Absolutely.
If it's going to become like the culture, if it's going to have the culture, it's going to become the culture center then. Call it that. Yes, that's a place I would like to be.
In the music that Spragga has been producing currently, you know what I mean?
Yes.
The music are more a bit subtle, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
What's the reason behind that?
We've been doing like 30 years ago. You have to be different. You have to grow. You know, I don't see things the way I used to see things then. I don't do a lot of the things then that I do now. So I'm going to have different topics to talk about. I might have different ways to speak on certain topics. So now, with an older Spragga, you find I start doing more songs that I not really watch the forward. I watch the message. You know, so a lot of my fans, originally, they just love that forward Spragga there. You don't have to bust my gun today. I know I say a forward. That's like everybody a gangster. You know? Girl, I for you watching already. Yeah, the forward, the girl them love that energy there. But me coming out and say, guide my life, oh Jah. You are my light, oh Jah.
Well, guess what, Spragga Benz? Since you've already started it, this is the time that everybody has been waiting.
We hope. So hold on firm and remember to pray. Them said that we hopelessly head into Dovecot. Them still over rising. The devil don't.
You get me? So we wait the arrival of Spragga Benz right here in Coventry. Big man himself, Spragga. How is the best way to contact Spragga Benz?
The best way they can contact me is from probably they can send me a message on IG at Spragga Benz 3, or they can send a email to 7-Star Entertainment. That is 7 SEVEN star STARENT. My new album that I'm getting ready to release anytime soon is called Once Upon a Time in Dunkirk, and it features collaborations with Beres Hammond, with Morgan's Heritage, with Future Fambo, with Bounty Killer. And
that's been such a pleasure talking to the man himself, the dancehall artist who've given us music from the 90s straight through up currently, you know, he's giving us music.
You know, even the new ones are just a hear me today. Enough love and respect. Give thanks to all of to yourself as well for allowing me this platform to speak to my audience. And, you know, all of the artists that move in the UK, Big Fist, big up yourself all the time. Rodney P, Illaman, you know, Rebel ACA. Big up all of my people, enough love.
Blessed Lord, thank you so much for passing through. Spragga Benz, yes.
And them blazing, for sure.
I said they wishing for the downfall of the dancer.
Never that.
Where you wanna Spragga Benz, they call them a call.
Never shot.
The girl them
Hot like fire.
them burning up the place.
And that's what required.
Girl them with the booty, make me tell you Spragga them set the pace.
Spin it like a tire. Rotate it. Them girl they will make you spend up every dollar.
Take the old man crawl.
Girl, wine and make me send for you. Bend over, make me bend for you. That's the way you do it, girl. Continue.
Are you around the place?
Some of us are them.